Hello, everyone. Good evening. Those of you who are in Minnesota, it's been kind of a rainy, dreary day, so I'm glad that you're here. We have some new poets, we have some returning poets. It's gonna be a good night. And yeah, let's just get into this. So, first up, we have River Maria Urke. Welcome. I'm so happy to see you again. Oh, you're on mute.
I was gonna say I better unmute. Yes, and we do our intro first. So I have the eyes of the poet and the heart of a poet and the eyes of an artist. I live in River Falls, Wisconsin, so I'm near the cities, and I run a show online on Zoom called Up Close Meet the Poet Behind the Verse. You can find it on either on Facebook or on YouTube with Up Close Poets. Usually that'll get you there somehow. This coming Wednesday, we're interviewing George Colburn. That is going to be on, what, 8th on here, you said? The 8th person, I think. Or 7th, okay. And so, and then about me, anything, all of my books or anthologies I've been in, if you want to see my art or anything, you can go to my website at rivermaria.org. So rivermaria.org. And the last thing, I'm a poet of place for the Lower St. Croix Valley, where I live, for 2022 or 2022, however you want to say. And so I thought I'd start with, it's powwow season. It's time for us to get out and dance again. So I thought I'd start with one about that powwow trail. Number 1. He remembers his first powwow back in 1967. All they had was a steel drum and some old songs rediscovered in dreams. See, it was the Indians' turn to fight for their right to gather and be free to believe. Doors opened, identities were found, tears shed, acts past, people found their way home. 2, 30 years passed and he's still dancing, weekend to weekend, res to res, down the powwow trail. 3, the drum beats to rhythms of time, matching steps, pounding inside, dancing to keep traditions alive. 4, he remembers his last dip and the sneak up, the smell of grass and sweat. As he rose, swirls of color blend in one hue of movement, matching the ribbons, beads of glass. The sounds of jingles heals our past. 5, when the red moon rises, he will follow the powwow trail once more. Oh, the online thing. Okay, so I have other spring ones. That's what we're doing this spring, right? Yeah.
You can read anything you want.
Oh, I picked off spring stuff. So anyways, so the season of fiddleheads. The complexity of a season's change is simplicity to nature's ways. As the northern wind holds strong, a seasonal game of tug of war begins, turning days into extremes, casting shadows through sunbeams. Spring is in the air. Mud is everywhere. Waters spill as trees bud. Animals couplet, babies come. All these marvels unroll as I watch behind glass, unable to go out. I remember spring. 'Tis the season of fiddleheads, mud pies, and dog shit. Okay, let's see, this next one is the newest of them. It's called A River's Gift. And it has a Ojibwe word, sema, which means tobacco. Let's say, did I read this one before? Not Francis? Okay, I don't know. A River's Gift. High among treetops, change is in the air. Beams escape past of dawn, bouncing off naked limbs. A kiss of warmth upon my cheek leads me to my window. Outside, the budding birch dances in the breeze. Scurry, dart to and fro, and I find I'm swaying, moving to the morning song. Spring is here, the air is warm. Caw, caw, squawks the crow flying by. She calls for you. Late, I quickly ready, make my way down, down beside her watery edge. A sema slides into her palm as I wait for my lesson. An odd sound arises, a rustling of sorts. Deep, deep down, I imagine the movers somewhere underground in another realm. But then an old man appears, crouched near a stump, his hands caked brown, smiling ear to ear, his toes wiggling his toes wiggling free in the dirt. Can you hear them? They're awake. Do you hear the worms? So I think, yeah, I think that's it for me. So that's
One more.
one more. Do you really want one more? I could find one that's not that. Do you want the fun a night of jazz? Okay. A night of jazz mixed with bits of poetry. Begins with the deep notes of the horn, drifting the streets and wait. For the whispering sax to rise from the staircase of brown stone, he follows the old sounds of jazz to a door of ancient weight, marked with carvings of time and place. The door opens to a dimly lit room, smoke laced with a bourbon scent. 50 years times past, he's been gone from this tavern of jazz, where musicians blend in the walls that know the notes they jam all night in Colombian haze. As he watches a woman move from the shadows, he's caught by her brown eyes. And how he knows she is the poet they say flew amidst a river of words and carved couplets in stone. He bends down to get up, and she's gone. Only a white feather floats down to the sounds of jazz.
Thank you so much, River. I always enjoy your poetry. Also, she makes the most incredible handmade dream catchers. She's an artist as well, and she's really talented. So you'll have to check that out as well.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Next up, we have Jessi. Welcome. Tell us about yourself.
Hello. My name is Jessi. When I am doing poetry, I usually go by Jessi Marie. So I am in Minneapolis. Actually, I'm in Minnetonka, so right outside of Minneapolis. I have been writing poetry since I was in the 5th grade. Most recently, I have been working on a collection of military poems. I am a combat Army veteran. I've been actually working with a publisher out of Iowa to get a book published hopefully this year or next. So that's been really an exciting project. Most of my stuff is kind of like I've always kept it to myself. I just recently started putting some stuff out there. And I'm working on another project. I write a lot about motherhood. And so I'm working on a collection of motherhood poetry. I'm hoping to have that completed here soon. I am featured in this collection of motherhood poems by a bunch of different artists and poets. And so that was a really cool thing that happened during COVID. So some cool things there. Some of the things that I'm going to share today are, I will always put out a trigger warning for my stuff because I do talk about childhood experiences and things like that. So I am a survivor of childhood abuse. And so some of those themes are in my poetry. And then it kind of always ties into motherhood and life and things like that. I have a profession of being a mental health nurse and clinician. So that always ties into my poetry as well. And then being a combat veteran, I write about those themes as well. So I thought spring was on my brain too. So I have a few spring pieces as well to share. My poetry can be found on my Instagram page, which is Jessi Marie _poetry. Just kind of a newer page, so not everything is up there. I'm slowly building it. But here we go. The first one I wrote, I actually wrote this during COVID. We didn't have much to do, so I ran a lot that year. And when I was running a lot, I get a lot of inspiration. I say that if I ever lost my phone, I would cry for a very long time, because I look today, I have like 500 notes on my phone, because when I run, I get really inspired, and then I will stop and I'll write a couple lines, or a whole entire poem will come to me all at once, and they're all on my phone. And so I hope they're on the cloud, but you never know. I should really just spend some time just to get them all written down or typed up somewhere. So that way I just need to start publishing. That's what I need to do. So that way they're out in the world and actually somewhere concretely. But this one is called Winter Makes Way for Spring. Brown, muddy earth peeks through layers of white, ice compounded by accumulation that is set heavy, waiting for permission to melt. This winter, I took the time to root down and dig deep into my heart, touching the scars and dark crevices that are longing for light. I touched my heart, my mind, my body. I held my soul and danced with my shadow. I left no stone unturned. I wrote letters no one will read. I burned them with my anger. I sat with my grief. I celebrated the winds with deep breaths, belly laughs, full body stretches, and early nights to bed. I nourished myself with home-cooked soups, ice cream, and self-love. I let go of what was heavy and weighing me down. I still have things to carry, but I am lighter now. And just like winter makes way for spring, I melted the layers of unworthiness. I turned towards the sun to make space, to welcome the light. I am ready to bloom. And my girls are home with me now, and they might barge in. I asked them not to, but you never know. They're young, so they could need me, or they could just, be curious. So we'll see what happens. This one also kind of has like a spring themey ness to it. It's called Someday I'll Grow Flowers. My mother did not garden. I'll have to read how to pick the right seeds for the right petals. I forget the difference between perennials and annuals each year. I grew up with a rose bush in the yard that I wasn't allowed to touch. We did not dig in the earth enough, tend to our wounds enough, letting the rich soil and sun and water and rain heal us enough. I had peonies at my wedding. Maybe I will plant those as a reminder that all things must come to an end. In time, the ache lessens and you start to think about time differently, pulling the weeds out, picking the rocks out of the dirt to make room for something even more beautiful. When it comes time to plant, after I've studied and know, I'll bend over and sow my garden. I'll tend to my knees and back. And then when it's time, I'll cut the fresh petals of white, pinks, and purple, take them in my house, a bouquet of color, place them in a vase, and I'll breathe in their secrets and sweetness. I will find forgiveness. I have a very brand new one that I just finished today. I didn't really know what to title it. It's kind of a really long title. It's called Things I'd find walking in the woods in northern Michigan during my childhood. 41 shell casings, aluminum twist caps from Pepsi Cola bottles, cans of faded old Milwaukees, socks missing a pair, the perfect piece of wood for a sidewall of our fort in Billy Joe's backyard, ice cakes in the winter, mud pies in the spring, endless stars in the summer, red maple leaves in the fall, cool rocks, broken radio parts, decapitated Barbie heads from cruel older brothers, rusty metal things that no longer work, solitude without loneliness, quiet without fear. I'd find these things in the woods that I'd wander until dark, never wanting to leave. I still retreat to the woods when the noise gets too loud. Maybe I'm still looking for the things that I never found. Them, family, saying, I'm sorry, we love you, come home. And then I wrote this one. This was kind of one of those poems that just came to me. I don't know what other people call those, but I call those heart poems, when you just get a poem that's all at once. And this came to me a couple of weeks ago. I was at the gym running on the treadmill, and on the news was the stories about all the mothers and their children that are in the shelters in Ukraine. And being a mother and having been through a war, it just really just hit me. And this poem just came to me. I literally had to stop running on the treadmill, and I'm a crier at baseline, like really big empath. And so here I am just like standing on the treadmill at the gym, just tears streaming down my face. And this poem is just like pouring out of me. And I titled it, Things That Keep Me Awake at Night. I had a mother. I have a father I do not know. That's how I got here. I don't have them anymore. I still long for guidance. As elusive as it seems, I still, at 40 years of life, cry myself to sleep. I have 3 daughters. The oldest is so kind that kids are cruel. Her eyes, blue like topaz, have been calling out injustice since she has learned to speak. The middle child is still learning to breathe. Riddled with anxiety at the tender age of 7, I gave her this, my epigenetic cascade. I tried to stop it from crossing over, but I didn't make it in time. But I will, we will overcome, because I speak the language of love and healing that hasn't been done before. The youngest, her wild heart is fierce and determined. She knows what she wants. She is loud and she is brave. How do I keep her that way? Keep her that way in a world that is burning, crying and begging for change. And just when we think we are close, someone sends a bomb and we're at war again, back scattering, heads in our knees, ears covered, eyes closed. It hurts too much to see. I wanted to give them the world. Isn't that what all mothers dream? Now I am unsure. Now I hold on to the thread of trying to remain human, hold my heavy heart and teach tolerance instead of being controlled by fear. I forgot how to pray a long time ago, but lately I find myself with a whisper, Lord, whoever you are, keep us warm, keep us safe, give me strength. I feel like War Son with her hand on the globe. I am the globe. Where does it hurt? Everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. And if you don't know, the poem that I'm referencing is by Warsan Shire in that last stanza. And it's a really powerful poem. It's one of my favorites when we're kind of in our turmoil, when our country's in turmoil, when our world's in turmoil. It's a poem that I always go back to. It's just a beautiful piece. And I will end on a lighter note. One of my favorite poems that I wrote, I have to pull it up on Instagram. It's one of my motherhood pieces of poetry. Naturally, my Instagram's being slow. It's called, I wrote this for my middle child, my 7-year-old, who is neurodiverse with anxiety and sensory processing disorder, but she is a brilliant little girl, and she's just amazing. And I called it A Pocket Full of Rocks. My daughter brings me rocks, more than hugs, she brings me rocks. And sometimes I'm able to squeeze in a hug or two. She brings me rocks from school, from the park, from the beach. When she is happy, when she is sad, when she wants a hug but doesn't exactly want to be touched, she'll place a rock at my desk and wait. I notice and I ask, "Do you need a hug?" She nods her head yes, and then curls like a cat in my lap. And she puts my arms where she wants them, and she stays that way until she is ready to move on. I find rocks when I open my dresser, when I'm searching for fingernail clippers or phone chargers. They are on the counter, in shoes, in toy bins. They come out of my purse with my wallet. We have a rock garden on the patio for the overflow. At first, I felt sad, confused, because I understand hugs more than I understand archaeology. But as I've learned to mother my neurodiverse, brilliant girl, I understand to her, a rock is a diamond. It holds wonder without limits. It is tangible, and it is forever. It lasts longer than a hug. Now, I keep her rocks where she leaves them. I pull them out, the smooth ones that she hunts and finds along Lake Superior. I rub my fingers over their water-worn edges. Their journey is a lot like motherhood. You get tossed in the waves, knocked against hard surfaces. So much is unknown. The journey reshapes you and sends you in a new direction. And then little hands find you, pick you up, and look at you as if you are made of magic.
Thank you so much, Jessi. I love that poems come to you when you're running. Like, I'm gonna have to try that and get exercise and creative at the same time. But the last,
Win-win.
like, I work with children. That's what I do. That's what I've always done. And I love collecting rocks myself. So I really enjoyed that one in particular.
I really liked your poetry, Jessi, and
Thank
I
you.
have to say you made me think about my wife, who, as a little girl, collected rocks on the beach of her lake cabin.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And I want to have you again. So you're welcome anytime anybody is. And so up next, we have Elizabeth. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. This is my first time here. Let's see, I've been writing since I was really young. I actually just came across a bin of mine with all of my old first writings when I was in 4th grade and stuff like that. And but I just recently started writing more, kind of because of the journey that I've been on. And I started an Instagram page not that long ago where I started putting down some of my thoughts and feelings and stuff like that. So just getting back out there now. My Instagram is called I Dwell Within. And so, yeah, this is some of the stuff that I've come up with more recently. And so I'll just start. Oh, I didn't say where did I say where I was from? I don't know. Anyway, I'm in Victoria, Minnesota. So, okay. You did not lose me. See, you were never meant to have me. We thought we had to attain, attach, define, but in that, my heart only knew how to be caged. And so, my dear, when I removed the chains my mind had attached, you watched me become myself, shedding the weight of control. I am still here, you see. I just love differently. My next one, my next one's called Can You? Can you only love me out of your need to feel loved? Or can you make space for my pain without it pulling you under? Can you see my hurt for mine and not defend yourself against the wound I trigger in you, pushing me further away? Can you see my views as mine, not wrong or right, good or bad, but accept them and value them, seeing their truth and that I am me and I can be without it threatening you? Can you be honest with me? So honest that it may hurt me, because in that honesty, in that hurt, it pushes us past what is comfortable and further into our own, but also closer together. And can you let go of me if this doesn't feel right and we keep trying and it keeps hurting and we want to feel love, but it just doesn't fit? And can I? And my last one's called This Time. I will let you lead. I will know you through the tunnel of healed walls and not the breakdown of lovers' last mistakes, expecting you to pick up my puzzle pieces scattered amongst dirty dishes and children's toys. How could I know your truth? I couldn't see it in your glance, feel it in your presence, believe it from your words. Into her heart, she whispered, I promise you this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. There is so much heart in those poems. Wow. And I'm really grateful that you took the courage and time to share that with us tonight, truly.
Thank you.
And I hope we'll see you again.
I would like to come back.
Yes, we would love to have you. Love, love.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Up next, we have Mei Lee. Welcome. She is another person who hasn't been here before.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I don't really know how to do an introduction. I've never really done. I also started writing poetry and posting it to the internet during 2020, and found some really cool communities that way. And I'm really excited to do something like this with my community. That's much closer to home than, people super far away, which is also really awesome. But I'm from Minneapolis. I'm here in South Minneapolis, bottom of Whittier, and I have a Facebook page, and it's at Cadaberly222. But I can post that wherever. But otherwise, that's it. That's all I got. I got a Facebook page. I wanted to, I don't know. Anyway, so I'll go ahead and start. Thanks for having me. So the first poem is called Sixth Sense. Antique, a skill not used for centuries. Walking the basement floor, a notable pull forward and toward, bounding these hands to a book. Fascinating. To find what's been read by these eyes thousands of times, on shelves of a certain age in a basement lined with the world's once best, now cast away. As I said, I've read this book more times than you can count. And when you know, I can tell it is to kill me. Albeit and despite, I will continue to read. Parchment leaks ink next to powdered lip liners, which are sure to contain arsenic and lead. What a fantastic place to be pulled. Littered with literal reminders that what's been jettisoned can be found again. And what a chance encounter this has been. A meeting of books and these hands. Imagine that. Hearing, vision, touch, taste, smell, yet I can sense something else. Now I've paid my mind's eye coinage, and it is that I know you've been watching. So walk with me, won't you? The road is long and often set with all kinds of auspices, each sure of what way is best. But I've never been all that concerned with how I get to where I go. I can feel it. Besides, we all make it home. And the next one is called Nawaii, which is Ojibwe for center. And Thesiolin, timber, and tourism betray an array of spectra on the lazily bonded shores of Heron Lake to pretend, and I ask, what is admired as Canada but ain't? Stretching expanse of land. See, strings glisten a forlorn Ojibwe tragedy arranged to be spoken of less and less. Can you gauge how long it must take a garnet tucked in a cavern to grow? Persisting is this primordial gem decagonal forsook, while tonic procures fabricated stories, distilled zephyr, and gliding triumphantly. It is sickening how the celestial Calendine tree wait at headwaters, ignoring columbine and granite, lovers, moonstone, and opal for a portal to nowhere. And this next one is called Today I Was Tired. And it's been a long road behind me, and I'm not sure how long the road is ahead. My mother, who bore me, raised me, and one day brought me to church. She walked me through the aisles and sat me down in a pew next to the pulpit, but it was what she said that truly set me up for a life with a view. So, you want to know the secret, the what that makes us tick, and with a single waving gesture said, all this. Religion? I balked. No, dear, the symbol it suggests, which is, well, thought that by this time you'd know. It is and has always been hope. At this, she got up, flew to the ceiling and right through the roof. Beauty and its epitome requires no proof. And this next one is called As of Now. The mountain shined as if lines of opalescent fissures had been encrusted on each reflective face that the sun could touch. Even the collovium at its base was pregnant with agates. Looking up from where she stood, squinting with a hand raised to brow, she could see the reason for her tiresome journey, perched high up and just barely in view. A soft give in the soil beneath her bare feet drew her attention back from those impearled heights and to the thick, lively ground. The increased chatter of bullfrogs and the songs of the nightingales, while the scent of a curious gray fox amused her nose, lent her comfort as the sun began to set, and was a sign that the adjacent forest was strong and welcomed her presence. Resting her eyes to drink in the remaining violet hues of citrus gold and the taste of its honey warmth on her skin, she breathed deep. Her ears pricked at a languid tributary nearby, recanting its endless story that never repeats. As the last drop of sun nipped at her cheek, she raised her sedated eyes and moved toward the reverberation. And this last one is called Freeform. And this one's a lot like what I believe Elizabeth has said, Jessi, I think, where it was a kind of an all-in-one out. And it's called, I think I said it, but I'm going to say it again, Freeform. It was amidst winter I had found summer. Within distorted thoughts and self-defeating beliefs, I had come to, and now I see. I am one with the ground I walk. I am the sun in the sky. I am the sky. I am the water that gives me life. I am, and this will see me through. I am the blinds that hang and give shade. I am the books on my desk and the glue placed on ripped pages. Just as I am the bone that made the broth of the soup I drink and the virus that caused the need for this soothing comfort. I am the bed that holds me in the night when the lights are out and the darkness that marauds my mind. And the darkness that marauds my mind, just as I am that darkness. I still by water's edge and drink. Clear as crystal, yet no reflection. I am the water. I hear the forest's call. It is loudest in winter. Rapping on the door and walking with bare feet on cold soil, I am the snow. And so I too am the frost and frozen dirt beneath my feet. I am the fantasies that fill my head and the poetry that bleeds from my pen, just as I am the ink and just as I am the pages left blank. I am the cocktail of oxygen and various chemicals in the space around me and the gravity that keeps me from ripping apart, becoming atmosphere. I am the copper inside coins as I am currency. I am producer and product as I am consumer of my own lies, truths, and misgivings. The past would dictate I have no home. But I have come to and I see now that that had always been a lie, one to keep me separate from the who, the what, and the why. Separate from all that has always been me. Home is outside of and within whatever this life is. Home eludes, but I have one. Home is somewhere beyond the Himalayas and just inside my pocket. It is every person I have ever met and is everyone I have not yet. And those are signed maybe. Thank you for listening.
Maylee, you read well. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. That was beautiful.
The imagery was amazing. I was like right there and I could see everything. I am just a sucker for nature poems. Like nature is so important to me in my life, and you just brought me right there with that imagery. That was amazing. Thank you. Okay, up next we have our Shanelle. Welcome. Tell us about yourself.
Greetings, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. I
Yes.
am Thank you. I am Shanelle. I am a poet, and I identify as a poet. I have poetry available on all digital platforms in SoundCloud, Amazon Music, wherever you can, Spotify, wherever you can find music, you'll find my poetry. I also have the printed books available on Etsy. And one of the poems that I will be reading is from my digital recordings. I do want to say that all my poems have trigger warnings. And the first poem I will read is from my digital recordings, not my printed book, and it's called A Princess Does Cry. A princess does cry. but not for reasons you might think. When the storm rages inside, it's not sad, it's not magical. From her tears, the creation of the ocean, flowers don't soothe her soul, but receive nourishment from her anguish, inspiration to grow. Do you ever question how out of the blue turns a red sky? The colorful emotions of a princess that does cry. Thank you. And the next poem is from my inspiration, the lady that started me writing poetry back in elementary school. Dr. Maya Angelou is going to be the next poem, Phenomenal Woman, I'm going to read. I also created my cover version of Phenomenal Woman that's available for a free download on SoundCloud. And if you want to find me on social media, I'm on everything, including TikTok. All you have to do is Google my name, Shanelle, and I'm going to put the link here in the chat. But I'll go ahead and do that now. And again, I will be reading Dr. Maya Angelou, Phenomenal Woman. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say, it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me. I'll walk into a room just as cool as you please, and to a man, the fellows stand or fall down on their knees. They swarm around me. I have of honeybees. I say, it's the fire in my eyes and the flash of my teeth, the swing in my waist and the joy in my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me. Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. And when I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say, it's in the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the ride of my breast, the grace of my style. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman. That's me. Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about, or I have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say, it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hand, the need for my care. 'Cause I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman. That's me. Thank you. And the last poem I will be reading is from my personal collection, and it's called No Allegiance. And again, the reading that I just did for the Phenomenal Woman, I call it a cover poem, and it's available on SoundCloud. You don't have to have a link, or you don't have to have an account. You can just download it for free. No allegiance. Okay, just trying to get this loaded up. I don't pledge allegiance to a flag because they never pledged allegiance to me. For the past week, I've awakened angry. My allegiance is to the one that gave his blood, not taking blood. I won't take my hat off. I refuse to utter those words. The only reason why I stand is to stretch my legs, improving the circulation. I like the Star Spangled Banner song, the Whitney Houston version. My ancestors chose to sacrifice their lives even when the military was segregated. When the smoke cleared, no matter the skin color, all of the blood that was shed was red. I live in an at-will state, the city part that uses streetlights, where my life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness can be sold if the price is right. Country police questioned me for working while Black. I lacked any sympathy. I won't pledge allegiance to a flag because they never pledged allegiance to me. Many of these professional football players have bachelor's degrees, masters, and doctorates. The shut up and play mentality treats them like a slave trade or a meat market. I enjoy the protests. That's what my uncles fought for. Let their voice count. Let them use their platform. I've had older white men sit on the side of the road, waiting until I get off of work and attempting to kill me because I'm one less Blackie trying to live the American dream. I live and love this neighborhood, but I'm not attracted to the drug dealers. I'm okay with rejecting the druggies, pill poppers, weed heads, and drunkards. How dare I not allow society to objectify, sexualize, and degrade me, a human being? I won't pledge allegiance to the flag because they never pledged allegiance to me. Thank you.
That was outstanding. Thank you.
The way you deliver those poems is amazing. Just how through your whole body, through your face, it's really powerful. That's like inspiring because like I'm not good at that. I just like read my poem. That was really moving. So thank you. Thank you so much. And I'd love to have
Thank
you
you
again.
all. Thank you.
And I was gonna say the what was the woman phenomenally
Phenomenal woman, that's Dr. Maya Angelou.
yeah, you read it phenomenally.
Thank you.
Yeah, you did that justice. Like
Amazing.
you
Oh,
did
man,
For real.
so well.
So well.
that was powerful.
She would be proud.
Yes.
Thank-
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Well, George, we have you up next. I'm so grateful to have you here. You're my buddy.
Well, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you. I live in St. Paul. I've been writing since I wrote love poems for little boys in 3rd grade and charged them a nickel so they could impress little girls, and got my lunch money that way. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I'm the son of deaf parents, and I have 4 books out. One I wrote in college, which is no longer available, but the other 3 are available on Amazon. One is called A Punctuated Echo. One is called Milking the Dragon. And the last one is called An Undeclared War, Poetry Born in Vietnam. I have a few things to read for you tonight. The first one brought me back to college And I wrote this specifically for English majors. It's called Graduation. Please let me know if you hear. Yes, I've started something in writing, I think, but we'll see. MA in English, dear Mr. Rosenthal, 4 years of editing, 6 months TV announcing experience. Call you at 9, Monday the 10th. It's a pleasure to meet you. I started in high school and nothing interests me more. It's a marvel, your growth rate. No, I can't translate, but I've done some teaching before. Wanted, director, small publication, knowledge of reptiles, a must. Seeking, reporter, 1 month vacation, should like to travel by bus. Please let me know if you hear. Yes, it started. Something in writing, I hope, but we'll see. This next one I wrote for my grandson. It's called Legacy. I can't promise you the world will get better. I won't fool you into thinking kindness rules. No one deserves this world the way it is, but it is this crazy now. There is meanness for meanness' sake. War ravages innocence. Understanding is hiding privately behind closed doors. Many levels of madness fight for your attention every single ridiculous day. I can say that I love you. I'll be here to listen to everything you have to say. We can cry together, hold each other tight, stay up late eating popcorn. I will buy you ice cream cones and walk beside you in the rain. There is no dragon I will not slay for you. At night, I will kiss your forehead and whisper any sweet lie you need to hear in order to sleep soundly through until the sunlight fools us both by brashly bringing morning and illusions of a normal day. This one is about a love that got away. It's called Love and Misses. It's not that I no longer care for you. It's just that I'm tired of waking up on the bottom of your shoes. Then I have to scrape myself off, learn to walk again, and reinflate, try to hold my head up in order to look you in the eye, but you aren't looking in my eyes. You're looking far over the horizon at a handsome man in a blue shirt whose muscles ripple, and you ask me to hand you binoculars, which I do, being certain to give them to you turned the wrong way around, a smile just beginning to crease my lips. Next one is called Penance. She carried bruises in her lunch bag as she dragged herself to school, used to bite her fingernails down to the very quick. And I asked her, doesn't that hurt? And she always answered, not as much as father. She had a habit of pulling sarcasm out of her pocket at a whim. Never played games at recess, never volunteered answers in class, never told anyone when he died. didn't celebrate her freedom, just stared at us as if we knew, made us feel too stupid to ask. This last one is called, How Did You Find Me? I did not come to you, a small boy with a posy full of dandelions tied to the veins of my heart. Nor did I follow you puppy-like, dragging rainbows behind us, hoping for an immaculate start. I used to hide in ruins of spoiled love affairs, crumbling, demolished, each intimacy dissembled brutishly, flowering devotion seen withered and bending back earthbound, waiting for burial and finality. Was it a sniffling, weeping herd behind the doors of our two souls that urged you toward my affection? Did you come to see eventually that even hardened hearts can reveal a new direction? And now I've trusted you utterly, like a three-legged wildcat. You've caught and hostage to me. Did you ever envision that? Thank you.
Thank you so much, George. I always enjoy your poems. River was excited that you were here tonight too. We were talking about you before you got there. You got a good group. She's excited about Hardy too. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. And up next we have Hardy. Welcome.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Hardy Coleman. One thing I was, God, what was I? Oh yeah, the rocks. That was that you, Jessi? About to dig the rocks out. When I was in like first grade, living in a small town in Texas, walked to school and back about maybe a mile from our house, along gravel roads. When I came home every day, I'd fill my pockets just chock full with the rocks, little rocks that I liked. Every morning after I went to school, my mom would throw them out, and the next afternoon I would bring them back. So this went on probably for the whole year. I don't know. Anyway, that's my rock story. I live in South Minneapolis, East Phillips, 3rd Precinct, about a mile from George Floyd Square. We have lived in interesting times here, as they say. And I guess I'll just read some poems. Been writing seriously since my early 40s. I was sent to prison. And I thought, well, I've got time. So decided to use it. But I'll read some stuff. This is titled Innocence and Debt for Petey. My wife, when she was younger, about the year the Stones played Ed Sullivan, had her first paid employment walking beans. That's not what you think if you're not from the fields, this neck of the woods, and don't even ponder putting beans on a leash and they won't fetch diddly. But anyway, she sent Minnie a milkweed plant to meet its maker. So just the other night, we read out loud as the mid-April snow plunked another foot onto our garden from the last testament of Tony Hoagland concerning a pachyderm who's shuffled off to the next round, being white keys on a Steinway, as the monarch butterflies hatch and head north, having no access to the weather channel, nor early warning system. Or, as my old friend Tom said, while taking flight off a 28-foot ladder, shit, man, you never know. Like, man, when did all those generations of great speckled butterflies come up short along the food chain? Was it that time her measly paycheck 56 years ago nudged her closer to meeting me? Suffice it to say, our love is in debt to all those who came and went before us, as if they had a choice in all their radiance becoming born. And this has kind of a working title, though it's not all that new, of the boob poem. So this is a warning that it talks about breast. Okay. I'm no closer to understanding the allure of my wife's breast than those of my mother when I was newly born. Yet I cannot deny nor wish to the comfort, thrill, and sustenance of such things as I am privileged to know and to have known. I closed my eyes just now and nestled my head softly between the woman I love and my imperfect memory. Am I still? Okay. This is titled Still There When the Lights Are On. There is a darkness which resides in dreams. It never sleeps, just lurks in the closet, under the bed, like an undercover agent, someone you thought you knew. That kid on the playground who says, there's something you gotta see. And when you follow him down the alley behind the schoolyard, through the mist that crept in like Bela Lugosi, and he dared you to open that door, the one you'd never noticed before. And this is where the memories are stored. Why is it that only when we hide ourselves in sleep do the children we might have been come out to play? Could it be there are misplaced twins who were tucked away when what they had to say made the grown-ups groan, fidget, mutter white lies? Those drooling ninnies who, if could they speak, knew too much. If I had a flashlight which knew its way around the language of ghosts and other famished haints, I'd crawl beneath the covers with you and flick it on so that we could read of heroes and bad guys and you and I, who are no longer caught between them. It's funny, I'm back before the pandemic, but I was used to reading in bars where it's very loud and the silence just, the silence is deafening. This is Ramadan Spring 2019. There's a quote, permitted to you on the night of the fast is the approach to your wife. She is your garment and thou art her garment. They are calloused, cut and blistered, for the days are long and her work is hard. She sweats, she bleeds, sometimes she cries, for I don't make life easy. And she wears my kisses when I've gone to work. And I cover myself in the shade of her eyes, the smell of her hair, and the compass call of home. And when I get there, bless this meal which she has cooked for me with blade and fire and water, and bless me with her imperfect and perfectly human love, served with hands as sure as rain, as sure as heaven falling on us. There is no one, not the angels, not even the prophet, who has held hands like these in prayer, my God. Amen. And wrote this a while back for my friend Brian Engel. It's just titled She Was. She steps into the swim of geese leaving water and heads like a moon shot slow as smoke or fall kissing a lake goodbye into the Sunday morning streets which map the sky. She is not leaving, only leaving feathers between waves that tongue the air, recalling the aroma of her hair. And I'll read one more. I took a trip a while back to New York City. Never been there before. And old roommates were roommates again in Brooklyn. And Kelsey and I, one of my old roommates, we sat on the front steps and just talked and hung out. It started in, like 10 at night. And before we knew it, the sun was coming up over Manhattan. It was really cool. It's just titled Trip. We watched the stars fall into daylight and the skyline start to smoke. It's been a bumper crop of small town minutes since Manhattan lit the night. Dear Mom, dear Dad, I'm having fun. It's just like home. I send my love. I ain't forgot. But there's so much more than memory. The crickets and the frogs crank it up till dawn here, too. Okay. All done. Oh, I have a book coming out. I got a postcard, if I can find it. It's a kid's book. Here it is. And it's illustrated, beautifully illustrated by a friend of Petey's. Da, 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 da. It's in 3D, see?
Thank you, Marty.
It's coming out June 1st from Moonfire Publishing. You can get it at bookshop.org or a bookstore. And we're working on getting it, out to bookstores. But yeah, it's
You got to have a party.
you're gonna probably the first Sunday in June. Petey's working on that at the Black Forest, probably. They got a special room. They do storytelling over there, and we're gonna have a party and feed everybody, and everybody can come and imbibe and whatnot, and so yeah, it's gonna be fun. So okay.
Yeah, keep us posted. Maybe you can share the information to the Minneapolis Poetry Sanctuary page. Like there's like a feed for like visitor posts or whatever. And then yeah, we'll come vibe with you. So
Well, cool. Thanks.
Thanks so much. What is the book? What is the children's book called?
Game Day.
Game Day. Cool. Awesome.
Got monsters and all sorts of magic stuff and baseball. So
cool. Sounds awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are waiting on, I think Mike is still coming, but we did have someone that was able to slip in here. She was trying to get a hold of me, but it took me a while to notice it. So IA Virgin Poet, are you ready to read a poem? I think she's here. Or maybe she stepped away. If you're talking, you're on mute. Otherwise.
There you go.
Yay, hello.
Hi, so girl, I was doing a lawsuit stuff, and then I looked at my phone and said, oh my God, today is the day. And I really wanted to read this poem to you.
I can only see the top of your head.
Okay,
There you go. There you go.
I really want to do this. Hold on, please. So many poems, my goodness, you don't even know. It's only a couple of more pages. Okay. So apparently it will be another day. Oh, there's more pages. Hold on. Can you hold on? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, why don't you, I have to make an announcement anyways. So why don't you gather your poems that you're gonna read, and then
go ahead.
I'll check back with you in 1 minute, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, so there are a couple things coming up that I wanted to talk about with the Minneapolis Poetry Sanctuary. One of them is it's going to be a new series called Poetic Lens. And what it's going to be is I'm going to be interviewing different poets, and we're going to be talking about the poems that inspired and changed them from other poets, and also some of their favorite poems. So that's kind of what the series is going to be on. Anyone is welcome to do it. Just email me if you're interested. I did ask someone to be the first poet that I interviewed. He's been taking a little bit of time to gather everything. So I might have to end up using someone else first, but if you're interested, it's just going to be a separate series through Minneapolis Poetry Sanctuary. And I'll give you like time, you don't have to be put on the spot. You can come prepared with a couple poems that have helped move you and inspire you as a poet, and then also a couple of your own favorite poems. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, so I've been thinking really hard about how I can help people. and what that looks like for me. And one of the things I've thought of is I'm putting together something called poetic sanctuary kits. Okay, and I've already purchased quite a few things, but basically what it is I'm putting together kits of journals, writing utensils, things like that to give to different people. There's a shelter that's interested, there's a psychiatric unit that's interested. So it's to give to people to get them writing, to, it doesn't have to be poetry, but like getting stuff into words, as we all understand, is so healing, so powerful. So what I'm asking of you is, what I'm going to include is kind of like a little booklet of like inspirational poems. I ask though that if you would like to include one, that it not be triggersome, because these are going to be going to people in delicate situations in their life. So if you have a poem that's just moved you or you find inspirational, you can email me at MPLS, so Minneapolis, poetrysanctuary@gmail.com if you want to be a part of it. And I'll talk more about that like later and on the page and stuff, but I'm really bad at like, I don't know, advertising stuff like that. So yeah, 2 big things coming up, and I would love for you to be a part of either one of them and both. So a Virgin Poet, are you ready? You're on mute. Oops, you're on mute.
Excuse me. Good evening. I was trying to get on. I was heartbroken, actually. I was like, oh my God, I want to do this. I am a member of this community. So here I am. A Virgin Poet, evocative poetry writer, using imagery and visionary techniques to enhance journeys of unknown and known factors in life. The night takes nothing and forgets everything, where stars spread into the dark over the tree lines and nothing is ever denied, where you can't hide from yourself, even at the risk of being your own counselor that constantly reminds you to stop misleading your life, cursing yourself for what you couldn't fix. You rush to redesign your thoughts, putting yourself back together again, becoming scared and drowning, buried alive. If only you could say, I love you, that could save you. But there is no sound, just tears unfelt when you realize that what you say is forced. You panic, your broken body trickles through your veins, and it becomes painful to gaze about nothing. Have you forgotten? Afraid to stop. A Virgin Poet. This one has a title, Shark Infested Waters. Making a list of yourself, knowing that there's no return to where you were yesterday. As waves roll in, death wants you, but you don't want it. You are unable to breathe and feel it in your lungs. Your heart beats to an earthquake beat, forcing you to cry without tears. This moment is still as you try to listen to your guilt, to your anger, to your memories. Your arms stretch like tree branches as you fake a calmness and lose all your hopes. That life has dealt you this challenge and made you blind to emotions, holding yourself together to realize you are your own stranger, and recovery plunges you back to that nowhere behind closed doors where it's always a funeral and no one is there. And there are no roadmaps to lead you. And your mind cannot comprehend and your eyes cannot see. So you just pretend that someone inside you is alive, where you laugh and play and stay out of sync, going beyond your thoughts that you are leaving the world that you had known forever. I, a virgin poet. Let me get the other one. Sorry. Voices revel in mood and form with images that depict life, but it misses the heartbreak of piercing agony that crosses a bridge that has been crossed and replays conversations that mean the same thing. Where mourning people become unnoticeably quiet, harmless, with compliments of the sun reflecting a presence of absence, unanswered, cut off, a cold trail of silent words, searching for their voice in the open, full of color, sparkling off windows, but yet in no living language. They're not certain. They're full of self-doubt, of existing alphabets where you shape reality and create a form, a strange sense of existence, a kind of beauty that wears thin, but full of opportunities for artistic expression where the mind is set free. And the entire personality is suffering, adjusting, the catharsis for that long perfection of letting go. In death, voice has inexorable time, like people who long to be everywhere, but just at once. I, a virgin poet. One more. 84, 84. Come on. 85, 84. Here you go. Dedicated to Linda in honor of Jose Ivan Sacasa. Bits and pieces. For all of those in trenches, often ignored, attempting to survive, reflecting how things remain the same, of patterns of dysfunctional defeats that stampede over cliffs into an emotional climate, resonating sorrows of misperceived sorrows, saying you are ready to stay behind, heartbroken and ready to die. These trenches keep you hidden, isolated in a rhythm of raw discontent and abandonment, making your outward appearances resemble shuttered windows and weakening your mental health, locking you in the essence of your reality. In the midst of hell, loud by nature, but fearful, you expose an unforeseen depth in your heart that begins to lose faith, to a dark and menacing pain, full of fire that blows forcefully, causing your imaginary walls to vanish, emitting a peekaboo of wide eyes, restless faces that resonate a non-existent expression. Your thoughts swirl in your head. You feel the need for silence, for you no longer are part of your life. And your friends rush by without pausing, not allowing your words to explain yourself. And the sounds from the sky become deafening. And you no longer hear beyond the words, yet you're welcomed as a stranger. This persistent makes you feel altered and transformed, for everything has changed. Your faces, your voices, the lack of sincerity in the silence that envelops you, like a flower that withers, vague in memories of broken, sleepless nights, only to awaken a wrapped form of silence. A leaden silence that weighs heavy on your heart. As you feel the wind pass through you, you search for that gift that bounds you to the power of the spoken word. You are lost under the stars, forgotten, but your youthful appearance refuses to die. In the distance, everything disappears to a deserted place. And being alone does not diffuse your memories of once familiar voices that are gone now forever. and seeing yourself for the first time fills the images with different frames of faraway voices. That echo returns to an unchangeable myriad of graveyards so dark beyond your reach. You look back with no regrets as time passes quickly, and those who live hurry on, never looking back to observe your life. As you remain under your skin, so convinced of the truth of your suffering, as your invisible hands write your spoken words of generic mourning, of your anguish, of your angst, of your abandonment. At A Virgin Poet.
Thank you so much. I am so grateful that I was able to see the message and get you in here.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very nice work.
Yeah, very powerful.
We will definitely see you next time.
Sounds good.
Send me a link.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, it really helps if you reach back out to me close to the open mic, because I get a lot of emails, a lot of questions, and I do try to keep track of like who's signed up. But if it's near the open mic and you've signed up and you haven't heard from me, definitely reach out because I want you on here. So I thought I would read like maybe one or two poems, maybe, if that's okay. This one's called Spring Green, because it's kind of springy in the air, rainy, but whatever. Tonight I put on my reflective vest and take Romeo on his second walk. I glance at my phone on the round kitchen table, but I leave it. Romeo hurries to the nearest grass to check out any new smells. I watch him, but I think about how I need to refocus, that I ate 6 chocolates I shouldn't have, that I need to read more if I can be taken seriously. I let Romeo take his time. I check the nest in the lilac bush, but I don't think it's being used. I hope not, because it doesn't seem safe enough. I don't try to look closer. The color of the sky is shifting Caribbean Sea to further out waters. I find the moon and it's split in half, and I almost laugh. The moon looks like he is peeking out from another room, half in, half out. I notice the branches from the maple tree in my front yard. What are these lime buds bursting? I nearly forgot about spring green. I stop for a moment and remember life, resilience, the need for rain, each leaf opening to its own shape and space, each worth the same. Romeo moves to sniff a shrub that is equally blooming and dead. The sprigs of hope from healthy stems rise like the hand to a forehead in salute. There is something to honor here, not ignoring what's behind. 2 squirrels begin fighting, or maybe they are mating. It's hard to know. Further down the road, a single frog tries his voice, proud to hear himself, or just thankful he is heard. I've got 2 short ones I'll read. They're all nature-based, because spring. Okay, this one's called Burnt Side, which is the name of a lake up north. Take me to that place where gentle waves greet shoreline rock, where flowers have freedom, and the loons can sing loudly in the night. Bring me back, the sunsets plead, while the wind lives to feel its way through these trees, a place where magic is possible and alive, and I am at peace. Okay, this one's called I'd Be Peace. What about the peace on an uninhabited island? Do stars wish to live nearby? Does the sun light each stretch of beach the same? Somewhere there must be a gentle quietness that is never bothered. Only a starfish switching places among a branch of coral. Only the rest of gulls on a wave. A lizard closing eyes on the heated rock. A palm leaf turning direction with a breeze. I'd be each or any, but mostly I'd be peace. Well, Mike was going to join us, but I think he's just not going to get here in time, so we'll have him next time. But thank you so much, everyone. This was a really wonderful open mic. I am always so grateful to be here, and I'd love to have you all again. Please follow and like the Minneapolis Poetry Sanctuary Facebook page. I do post writing prompts there. I try every week, sometimes I don't, but I'm really trying to build a community and have people share what they are writing. So I encourage you that if you do one of the prompts and you feel like you would like to share it, you can post what you've written in the comments under the prompt that I post. And thank you all so much. Happy spring. Hopefully we'll get some sunshine more soon. And good night, everyone. See you soon.
Thank you, Francis. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, good night.